You've probably saved $1,000 before, maybe even $2,000. You felt good about it. You saw the number growing and thought, finally, I'm getting somewhere. So why is your savings account still nowhere near $10,000? Because the problem probably isn't how much you earn. It's what happens after you save. You finally save $1,000. Then your car breaks down and suddenly you need $400. An unexpected bill comes in, a family event comes up, or you spend a little more than you planned. And just like that, months of saving disappear. So you start saving again. You save $200, then $300, then maybe $500. You feel like you're finally making progress again. And then something else happens. The money goes back out. Save, spend, start over. After doing this again and again, you might start thinking, maybe I'm just not good at saving money. Maybe I don't earn enough. But that's not necessarily the problem. The real problem is the system you're using to save. The good news is you don't have to keep repeating this cycle. In this video, I'll show you why your savings keep disappearing, the simple math behind reaching your first $10,000, and a practical system that can help you stop starting over and over again, protect your progress, and finally build savings that actually stay there. You open a savings account in January with a clear goal. You want to start saving and finally build some financial security. You stay consistent for a few months. By March, you've saved $600. For the first time, it feels like you're actually getting somewhere. You check your account and see the number growing. That small win gives you confidence. Then April comes. Your laptop suddenly breaks and you need $250 to replace it. A friend's wedding comes up, so you spend another $100. Then your rent increases, adding another unexpected expense. By May, that $600 has dropped to just $180. And the frustrating part is, you didn't stop trying to save. You didn't waste the money on shopping or expensive things. You simply had real-life expenses you weren't prepared for. This is where many people get stuck. They save money, something unexpected happens, they use their savings, and then they have to start all over again. You're not broke. You're not bad with money. You're just caught in a cycle where your savings are always being used to fix the next problem. Your savings account becomes less of a place to build wealth and more like a waiting room for your next expense. The money sits there for a while, but sooner or later something happens, and you have to take it out. The goal isn't just to save money. The goal is to build savings strong enough to handle real life without destroying all the progress you've made. And here's the number that makes this clear. If your income and expenses are almost equal, you might save $150 to $300 in a good month, but then an unexpected expense comes along and takes some of it back. At that rate, it can take 2 or 3 years to finally reach $10,000. There are 5 main reasons this happens. Reason 1. You're saving what's left instead of setting a target. Most people spend their money throughout the month and only think about saving whatever happens to be left at the end. The problem is, there's rarely much left. Extra money sitting in your account feels like money you can spend, so it slowly disappears before it ever becomes savings. By the time the month ends, you look at your balance and wonder where it all went, even though nothing you bought felt particularly wasteful in the moment. Reason 2. You're comparing your progress to someone else's. You might see someone online saving $10,000 in 6 months, and instantly your own progress feels small by comparison. You start wondering why you're falling behind, why it's taking you so much longer, and whether you're doing something wrong. But you don't actually know their full story. You don't know their income, their expenses, whether they had help from family, or whether they're even telling the truth. Saving slowly is still saving. What matters far more than speed is building a system you can actually stick with for the long run, not matching someone else's timeline. Reason 3. Your lifestyle grows as fast as your income. You get a raise or land a better paying job, and for a moment it feels like your savings goal just got a lot easier. But instead of that extra money flowing into your goal, your spending quietly grows to match it. A nicer apartment, more takeout, a few more subscriptions you don't think twice about. On paper, you're earning more than you used to, but your actual savings rate stays exactly the same because because your lifestyle simply expanded to absorb the difference. Reason 4. You don't have a real reason behind the goal. I want $10,000 saved sounds like a plan, but on its own, it's just a number. If it isn't attached to something that actually matters to you, real security, a down payment on a home, Finally leaving a job you hate, it has nothing anchoring it in place. And without that anchor, the goal becomes the first thing you drop the moment something else feels more urgent, more exciting, or more fun in the moment. Reason 5. You're tracking your spending in your head instead of on paper. You feel like you have a rough idea of where your money goes each month, so you never actually sit down and write it out or check the real numbers. But roughly is almost always wrong. Small purchases you don't even remember making, a coffee here, a delivery fee there, a forgotten subscription, quietly add up and eat into money you thought you were about to save. Without seeing it written down, you have no way of catching where it's actually leaking. Now let's make this really simple with some actual numbers because saying, just save more money sounds easy. But how much more and how much faster would you actually reach your goal? Let's say your goal is $10,000. Save $300 per month about 33 months to reach $10,000. Increase to $500 per month about 20 months, more than a year faster. Push to $800 per month. It take about 12 to 13 months. That extra $200 or $500 a month could come from a few simple changes. Cancel a subscription you barely use, eat out one less time a week, trim a few small purchases that don't seem like much individually but add up over the month. These are just examples to show how the monthly amount changes your timeline. Your numbers will depend on your income, your expenses, and whether your savings are earning interest. The real lesson is simple. You don't always need to earn a huge amount to save faster. Sometimes you just need to stop the money from disappearing. By setting a target instead of saving leftovers and by keeping your savings out of easy reach. Fix those two things, and even an extra $100 or $200 a month can make a big difference over time. The better system. So what should you actually do? You don't need a complicated budget or some secret money trick. You need a system that makes saving automatic, protects your progress, and makes it harder to spend the money you're trying to save. 1. Separate your savings. Open a separate savings account just for your $10,000 goal. Not for shopping, not for bills, not for random expenses. Its only job is to help you reach $10,000. If possible, keep it at a different bank from the one you use every day. That little bit of distance makes a big difference. When you don't see the money sitting next to your spending balance, you're less likely to think of it as money you can use. Automate the money. Don't wait until the end of the month and hope there's something left to save. Decide how much you want to save and move it automatically the moment your paycheck arrives. $150, $300, whatever works. The exact amount matters less than being able to repeat it every payday. Think of it like a bill, except instead of paying someone else first, you're paying your future self. Protect your savings from emergencies. Your $10,000 goal should not also be your emergency fund. Build a separate emergency buffer of around $500 first and grow it toward $1,000 or more as your situation allows. Now, if your car breaks down or a bill shows up, you have money available without touching your $10,000 goal. Give the goal a deadline. Don't just say, I want to save $10,000. Say, I want to have $10,000 saved by October. Now you have a number and a date, and you can work backward to figure out how much to save each month. Track your progress. Use a spreadsheet, an app, or just write the number down somewhere you can see it. $1,000, then $2,000, then $3,000. Every time that number goes up, you have proof the system is working, and that keeps you motivated when progress feels slow. And remember, don't expect every month to be perfect. Some months will be easy, some will be expensive. Maybe you plan to save $300 but only managed $100. That doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean you start over. You simply continue. That's what makes the system different. You're not depending on motivation every month. You're relying on a setup that keeps pushing you forward even when life doesn't go perfectly. Separate the money, automate the savings, protect your progress, set a clear target, and keep going. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to keep moving toward that first $10,000 if you're currently